Okay.
Hey there, folks. This is Adam, and I am talking with Matt. Matt, I haven't heard phonetically how to pronounce the last name.
Arevalo is fine. Arevalo.
Arevalo?
Yeah.
Okay, there we
Yeah.
go. So Matt Arevalo, and Matt and I have actually been connected for some time on Facebook, and I think through the social web in general, and haven't ever met face to face. And this is our first chance to meet face to face. And I think, Matt, when I met you, or when I was connected to you, and it may have been through Calvin Lee.
Oh yeah, I think it was Calvin.
Yeah, you had just launched Lootcrate. And just to sort of preface it for everybody is that this is not meant to be a Lootcrate commercial, but it's going to sound a little like it at first because I happen to be a subscriber and I like it. But what I really want to find out, because Matt's not only a founder, but he calls himself the CXO, which my assumption is the Chief Experience Officer. And they're doing some really, really incredible stuff on the sort of social media and content side that I want to talk with you guys about. Okay. And please join us. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in I think you put /Q. This is my third Blab, so I always forget the protocol, but it's a /Q and then the question to ask the question so we can see it sort of stand out in the comments. Go ahead over on to the left-hand side of your screen and click Tell a Little Bird to let folks know. Even though Matt was pointing to the right on my video because he's flip-flopped just like I am. Am I pointing the right way?
Yeah, you look right on my side. Yeah,
okay,
you're pointing right to the right place.
Awesome. And again, we'll open up the additional seat shortly here for other folks to join in. But I want to dive in here. So Lootcrate, for those that don't know about it, I'm going to explain real quickly and let you fill in the gaps, Matt. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
All right. This is one of the easiest ways to do it. We're here to talk about this. I told you guys I'm a subscriber here.
There they are.
And I'm going there they all go. And I've got box after box. And what it is it's a subscription service for folks that are into geeky gaming, comics, movies, just a whole variety of things that you would almost solely label as geek, but geek is a pretty broad category. In most of these little loot crates, and I didn't realize that I had left my Power Rangers shirt in here. It's going to sound really funny for a 39-year-old guy to be talking about all this stuff, but for about, I don't know, $16, $17, you end up getting a box every single month and have no clue what's going to be in it except for a theme that the folks at Lootcrate end up teasing as they're leading up. So this particular theme was called Unite, and so it was about a bunch of anything related to teams, right? That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, it was just celebrating the idea of different types of teams and teamwork and co-ops and that kind of stuff.
So that's why I got the Power Rangers shirt, which is a team, right? And then you've got they had different things like some comic books. I got a little Avengers Assemble decal to add to your car or something like that. Rick and Morty, which is a team, right? It's two people, but it's still a team.
And well, the interesting part about that is Justin Roiland, who's one of the co-creators with Dan Harmon of Rick and Morty, he's a big puzzle fan. And so we actually had one of the very first Rick and Morty licensed items out there. Not only is that artwork that's on the puzzle never been seen before, it's not just like key art from the show, but the idea that you unite pieces together to create a puzzle, that's kind of how we sometimes but you take the pieces, and it's also in a box, which is kind of like a Meeseeks box, which is from the canon of the show.
Oh, that's I just started watching the show, and that's
I'm a big fan.
That's one of the funniest episodes. I'm Mr. Meeseeks. And then lastly, so let's dive into the content a little bit. Did I miss anything? If you want to fill in the blanks a little bit about describing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the really quick kind of 90 seconds is Lootcrate is a subscription box service for geeks and gamers that for $20 a month, including shipping domestically and $30 internationally, we curate items around a theme, and we ship it out to you with a magazine, and most importantly, like a bigger experience that happens around it. It's not just about the items that are in the box, and that's not just kind of like a theory. We've seen our community really latch on and create really awesome stuff around it. So it's not just our social platforms; it's also a whole digital experience that happens during the full 30 days. And
arguably, though, you guys do not only a digital experience, just like you said, you do a real world experience, right? I mean,
the fact that the boxes all arrive generally within about 5 days, even internationally, leads to like a community all coming together and sharing what they've unboxed, right? Instead of just like, oh, I'm going to buy this item and buy that item, or I'm going to buy a mystery box and get some stuff to my house. Everything gets shipped on the 20th, or rather, everything gets shipped so that most people receive their items between the 20th and the 25th. International, especially if you sign up, if you're in Denmark and you sign up on the 19th, it might be a little longer. But for the most part, and what it does is you just see this, people doing their unboxing videos, showing off photos of them with their family or wearing their favorite shirt. And then you hear stories, with almost 500,000 subscribers, which is where we're at right now. Almost 500,000 people all around the world get a Loot Crate box every month. It leads to really great interactions and people sharing stories of seeing each other walking down the street and high-fiving friends that they've met, because they recognize the exclusive shirts or some sort of item that we have that's completely exclusive to the experience.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. The fact that because all these folks are part of this community, and some of them don't even know they're part of this community, and then suddenly you see folks, again, like Calvin Lee, who happens to be watching right now. I always know what's in my Loot Crate almost always a couple days before it arrives because Calvin always shares it online. But essentially, like you're saying, the fact that all these folks are sort of experiencing this unboxing of something where they don't know what's inside. And in a lot of cases, you guys have gone from, I think, pulling together merchandise and other things from folks that had it available to co-branding a lot of this merchandise. I mean, the Walking Dead comic with Loot Crate on it and that sort of thing.
It really was only the first, thankfully our community has grown and we've listened to their feedback and adjusted the service accordingly it's almost like a software release. Like every month it's like, what can we tweak and do a little better? What can we take out? What can we tweak and move? So it really was only the first year or so that we were even able to get items that were out there. Even at 200,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, because we wanted everybody to have the same experience, we couldn't just say, oh, we'll put this kind of figure in there, and some people will get this, and some people will get that, some people will get this. We wanted people to have the same thing. So right now at our scale, every single item, even the non-exclusive items, has to be manufactured for Loot Crate. So last month we had the Carnage mug and the Venom mug.
Yep.
You can go to Amazon. They're not exclusives. We thought they were really cool. We included them in the box. It's one of the largest items we ever had. Yes, you can buy those items on Amazon, but the company who makes them, which is an official Marvel item, they had to spin up the factories and make sure that we were able to get, part Venom, part Carnage, and really get it out there. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't really realize. We don't get items for free from brands. We don't, and since we're talking about content marketing, we don't, put items in the boxes because people are paying us to market. It may seem that way because a lot of the things we have in the box are tied directly to major entertainment and movie milestones. So, we had Terminator stuff in there when Genesis was there. Of course, we're going to have Fallout items in November when Fallout comes out. We'll have Halo items when Halo comes out. But we're not being paid or given those items to market to you guys. We know that these are items that obviously people love and enjoy. And we do a lot of surveying, a lot of focus groups, that kind of thing. And it really allows us to be able to share that fandom and allow people there and to experience it. The Funko Joker is one example, right? We know that people love the Funko Pop products, but we wanted to do something completely unique. And we went to DC and we said, look, we've got this, you have a Joker figure and you have a Batman figure. What if we were to put the Joker color scheme on Batman? And it just so happens they were like, that's never been done. We're not going to do that. No. And then we, talked to them a little bit more, and it ended up being something that they went with. And it's a completely unique item that's never existed anywhere else. And those are the kind of things we're looking for. Even that shirt, Adam, that you mentioned, the Power Rangers shirt, or the Voltron shirt you have now, those don't exist. Those are made specifically for Loot Crate. And I know it's got the little copyright at the bottom says, For Voltron, it's Saban Entertainment, or for Power Ranger Saban Entertainment. We have to do that for
I didn't even notice it,
reasons.
to be honest. So,
well, if the one you have, you can't see even you can't even, you have to stand up. It's not a big deal, but we kind of made it look like the blueprint. So like even the Lootcrate logo and the official logo down below that says Voltron, they all kind of, it's integrated. So we're not really interested in slapping our logo on everything. We really want to make it look like something that people are interested in. And speaking of those two shirts, those are also two shirts that you don't really have to be a super fan of them to think they're cool. And like robots and ninjas and stuff.
That's totally true. I mean, I think you had just barely launched Lootcrate initially when I tried it out one time. I think you were nice enough to let me try it out for a crate. And being somebody sort of, in my 30s, even though I'm a big geek, it wasn't really my thing. But you guys have improved so much. I decided to try to get one crate, I think, at one point, or I think I might have seen Calvin or somebody else. And I went, wow, that's awesome. And you guys really haven't sort of disappointed from then on. So I want to get back to sort of the customer experience of things.
Absolutely.
So CXO, I mean, again, Chief Experience Officer, you are the co-founder as well. Why add CXO to what you're doing?
I'll just be honest with you. We had to pick a title. We went from 20 people. Well, we went from original group, and we'll the story of how Lootcrate started. We'll save that for another time. Maybe it's on a conversation about startups or that kind of thing. But we started off with a small group of people, and myself and Chris Davis, my co-founder, we would sit on folding tables right across from each other. Exploded to 20 people, exploded to 50 people, 100 people, 150. Now we have over 200 employees. And, you're now at the point where it's not really a startup, even though we're 3 years old.
Sure.
And when you're at Toy Fair, when you're at Comic-Con, you have to hand somebody a card. And saying co-founder is like, okay, Chief Experience Officer just seemed to make the most sense. It's based off of my background of content marketing, digital marketing, working with brands, developing communities. So it's really just all about how to keep that customer experience and that overall sense of mystery and exclusive, can't get anywhere else type of secret sauce that's really important. And now we have a huge team of people we have a whole community team, a whole service team, UI, UX, people that are doing everything in experience. So it's not just me driving the experience. We've got a really awesome company. But my main role is that partnerships, business development, and experience.
So what does the word experience mean to you in the context of your customers?
We really want it's not how we position the service currently, but for that $20 a month, you are joining a community and you're having an experience that you can't have anywhere else. Yes, other companies put items in boxes and ship them out to you, but not every company is doing things like things that we're doing on mobile, or the video content we create, or the alternate reality games that we do that you can explore through little hidden messages. They're not doing the type of work that we're doing with YouTubers or live streams or events. So it's everything together that creates the Lootcrate experience, from seeing a smile on someone's face when they recognize that you are also a looter and you've gotten the same shirt and you guys are friends, instantly able to make a connection, to people who unbox over Skype with their family overseas, and they have that experience together. It brings them, or even just the family getting together and they all kind of take different bits and pieces. It's everything from the YouTube videos that you watch that we produce that are, we produce them like small films. They've got budgets and sound design and everything else, everything, the magazine articles, everything. That's the experience. And that's something that we really go for. We want you to feel like you're paying money to go on a ride and to be part of like a bigger thing than just a transactional kind of e-commerce situation.
So interestingly enough, and Steve, my buddy Steve is there, and he was asking sort of, how do you define a CXO in general? And you sort of talked about it a little bit, but the interesting thing is I think too many folks are probably thinking of a CXO as somebody, or the word experience has been a little too often applied to digital experiences, right? Or
sure.
User interface related stuff, user experience related stuff.
And it's different because we're a physical product based company, right? But yeah, in the sense of Lootcrate, it is everything from the events to the magazine content to some stuff that we're going to be announcing in the next kind of week or so. We've got some really awesome new things that are going to be coming out that are going to really be pushing the envelope for things that even major brands aren't really having the opportunity to embrace. So we can do that because we're we are geeks and gamers, and we know what we love, and we do focus groups. We hear what people want, and we adjust the service accordingly. So we've got some really interesting things planned.
I don't know if Douglas is in. It looked like he was in, and then he might have been out. But Douglas Carr was just joined us. I wanted to say hi, Doug, and Julian and David and all you guys. Thanks for joining us here. We're I know it sounds like to a couple folks who might have just popped in, we're talking specifically about geeky stuff. We're talking about some real cool stuff with experience and content. And Douglas happens to be one of those guys who I can see is on the pulse of folks talking about what experience means online. So you, what was the sort of the first step for you guys? What was the first thing that the first time you guys decided, or maybe it was initially at launch when you wanted to see how successful it was going to be. What was the first step that you took to saying, we want to create some content to extend this experience?
Well, I think it wasn't really about us creating the content. The content that we quote unquote created was the curation of the items in the box. We, from month one, 3 years ago, 2012, we wanted it to be about user-generated content. We wanted to see what you, Adam, what you would do when you unbox the crate. What are you going to share? What photos are you going to take? How are you going to experience it? So the very first box, encouraged people document, share, enjoy. It had a little picture of a camera. It's like, we built that mentality, that kind of culture of unboxing into the entire process. So it really was more about the looters, our community, creating that content and giving them the ability to do so. I mean, when we created the company, again, in a weekend, 54 hours, 30 days later, we shipped our first crate. And that's thanks to, my awesome co-founder and the team that we had with us. And, so I could focus on the social and getting that, Calvin was one of the first people, Mayhem Studios, he was one of the first people I mentioned that weekend. I'm like, Calvin, we have to win this competition. Like, can you get the word out there? So influencer marketing and, more than just giving it to like really popular YouTubers and I don't want to say digital natives or, early adopters and other buzzwords, but giving it to people who actually have built communities and built a reputation. We don't just give it to them and be like, hey, you're famous. You have a lot of people, talk about it. We wanted to give them content to create around. So I think
you didn't reach out to Kanye, huh? You didn't reach out to a Kanye crate?
But I think Kanye crate's actually a pretty good idea. No, it was really, it was basically the same thing that we did for our current community and looters. And what we wanted them to do was to share their experience with the box. The only difference was these influencers were able to use it as content for their videos. Every month you get something new. So it's like, oh, I can put on this shirt. I can talk about my favorite Pokemon character. I can describe my favorite Capcom video game or my favorite Mega Man, item. Those kind of things led to them naturally being interested and leading to their communities to kind of learn more about the service.
So would you say part of that was you put it out there, you wanted to see what the community would do and say, and then you found ways to get behind that, right? You would, for instance, what you guys do every single month, and I can see, I think it should be in here, but you ask folks to jump onto Instagram and take photos of what they're doing, and then you include it in a month or two down the line in the magazine and as well as the website. So the community is of course spreading the word about Loot Crate. But in addition to that, they're getting to see all the other folks that have experienced it, whether that's on their digital channels or not, because ultimately they're all going to get probably the next Loot Crate that comes down the line as well with this magazine in it.
Absolutely. And we also have a digital version of the magazine where those pages, we could put more on them. We can have them fade in and out so you can see more pictures of looters and kind of see the diversity that we have. But yeah, we don't have like, the Loot Crate photo gallery. What we do is we curate content that's out there. You can go to lootcrate.com/community and there's a hub that kind of pulls in Instagram and Facebook and everything else. We also have something, loot.cr/hashboard, and I'll link that later, but that's just Instagram, but that's a live feed of, and when we ship every 30 seconds or so, you see somebody out there posting, using the hashtag Loot Crate. And it's really a big part of everything.
Currently, what proportion of the content would you say is user generated content versus Loot Crate content that you guys have created?
Probably 80-20. You know, while we do create 80-20 being 80% user generated, you
Okay.
know, we have an Instagram account, but we post like 3 times a day. In that same day, you'll have 300 people posting an Instagram with the hashtag Lootcrate of not just the items that they just received, but also just moments that they have, or, you know, recognizing something or just sharing something they come across. So like, oh, I got this thing on my desk. I'm going to take a photo of it and share it. So, and then for every video that we do, you know, we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do something called Looter News on our YouTube channel where we kind of cover geek and gaming news. We have our unboxings, of course, that we produce. And then we have these, you know, short films in a sense that we do every month that are thematic. Even with all of that, there's somebody right now doing an unboxing and filming it, you know, as we're having this conversation. So it mostly is the users out there who are creating it. And we're just showcasing it, the signal boosting it. You know, even our Twitter account is mostly us retweeting other people to kind of show what they've created and how they're experiencing the brand.
Yeah, I mean, and to take it into sort of a perspective, you know, you said you're like a 3-year-old company. You guys currently have, and I was blown away by this. I didn't realize you have 2.2 million people on Facebook following you, right? And
Yeah.
I didn't see exactly the number of subscribers because it sort of hides it. But like on YouTube, how many subscribers do you have?
I think we only have about 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah.
Only about 200,000. You know, depends on the brand, but that's I mean, it's a pretty good chunk. And you know, you sort of understated it, but you talked about all the videos you do. You guys are doing essentially a 3-day-a-week podcast, in a sense.
Correct.
Video vlog. Yeah. And then in addition to it, depending on what the theme is, you know, like again, this particular one was Unite. I think the one that you have coming up is called Summon, which is really that artwork that you guys put up there to represent that is pretty incredible, because, you know, you guys always have some really nice artwork that goes with it. But ultimately, you guys create, like you said a small film, but these films are really nice, fun films that any person who would normally want to jump on YouTube and watch from the average guy, Freddie W. or somebody creating, you guys do the same quality stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they're not commercials, right? It's celebratory of the theme, but, you know, Julian's in the chat. I keep looking at him because, you know, Julian is a director that we use quite often for these things. You know, we had a fantasy. One good example, one of my favorite videos is we had a theme that was just fantasy, right? We're still doing those very broad themes since we're so young.
Yeah.
And the whole story was about a young boy who gets an invitation to come and play Dungeons and Dragons with some new friends. And you watch over the course of him going from you know, kind of like a preteen to teenager to college to being a father. But I won't ruin the video. But nowhere is there a Loot Crate box in the background. Nowhere is it saying like, oh, you know, one of the characters works at Loot Crate, or here's the item that's on the desk that like is from a Loot Crate. It was just this really sweet story, and it's got action. You know, there's orcs you battle and everything. And it goes between the real world and the fantasy world that they pretend to be in the role playing side. And it's really just a really awesome video that, again, anybody can just watch and enjoy. And at the end of it, it does say, you know, this is around the theme video for the theme for this month, which is fantasy. And if you're interested, go check it out and you know, subscribe to Loot Crate. And it's those kinds of things with the score and the color correction and the action and the fighting and everything. It's what we want to give to our community and to the world in general. It's our way of saying, here's something that you guys can really appreciate and take a look at it. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but we made this for you, not for us. The ultimate goal is not to just sell crates. It's to be celebratory around the theme. Obviously, we're a business. Obviously, we hope that some of the videos get really, you know, popular and get out there and gets us exposure. But and I speak for my co-founder Chris, who's the other owner of the company. We've had very frank conversations where it's like, okay, it didn't get a lot of views. Okay, it didn't convert a lot of people, but are people really happy about it? Did people say it was a really sweet story, that like they loved it, that it reminded them of when they used to play? Now they're going to break out their games and play. That's what's important.
So I want to tie back to sort of the ROI on this stuff in just a little bit.
Sure.
But before that, can you take us through a little bit about how do you guys plan your content each month, and then ultimately how does that end up? And this may be a whole separate question on top of this, but then how does that end up tying back to the business?
Okay, yeah, I'll start with the first thing is it's all about the product, right? We are a company that you sign up, you get mystery items in a box, the product's there. The product is chosen based off the theme. The theme is based off of user feedback and popular releases or things that are happening at the time. So
do you have kind of like an editorial calendar of, hey, these are the movie releases that are happening? Releases? We
plan out. We have our themes planned out till Q1 of next year, and what that allows us to do is to start working on everything from what should the magazine article be in January that celebrates this theme. What video should we do in December that is a theme video? What kind of contest or a company should we partner up with in October to do something around Back to the Future? It's all stems from that, and then we have individual teams who work on that. So we have a community team, and their job is everything social. It's all the content that we generate on our site around it. We have an experience team, and they are really about the digital experience, the mobile experience, making sure there's things that are outside of just your Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, that kind of thing. Yeah, we have an events team. It's their job to make sure that thematically, when you go to a show and we're trying to promote that theme, you get that same sense. So it all drives back to the products, and it all drives back to the theme. And yes, it's just like any other. Lootcrate is a company that is more than just e-commerce. It's basically a digital marketing and influencer marketing, technology development, mobile development, products. It's a company of companies kind of, and we give everybody the ability to really be proactive and to work collaboratively or on their own to really own that part of it while having the same thread through everything that is derived around the theme and wanting to make the experience as interesting as possible.
So really everything is intentional all along the way. Yeah. And the podcast sort of shows it seems like you've got a lot of very theme specific content, but in addition to it, you've got a lot of sort of audience, either celebratory or audience building content, like these podcasts you do on a weekly basis. They don't necessarily have to tie back directly to a theme because they're going to be talking about the hot stuff that's happening, but they're regular, and there's something that the audience wants to subscribe to, so that so it grows your audience, the awareness of what you're doing. And of course you do have mentions of Lootcrate on it, but it's very, very subtle, just like it is with everything else that you're doing.
Yeah, even so, Lootcast, which is new, it's Jenny and Ash, and they're two copywriters who work for us, and they have a really great dynamic. And they'll interview somebody from Lootcrate about what their position is there and everything. And it's not like buy Lootcrate. It's just here's Qua. Qua has been with us for almost the entire time, and he's our director of operations. He went from just helping out like label boxes and just doing random tasks to running our entire fulfillment and operations, which a lot of people don't know this, but we have our own 125,000 square foot facility. We do all our own packing, everything from the forklifts to the internet, the shipping to wrapping, but like everything we manage, and he manages that entire thing. So it's really, it's really just more about who Lootcrate is and why we do what we do, and talking to people who have something to say about why they do things at Lootcrate. Even Ash and Jenny at the beginning don't even say, at least to my knowledge, I've listened to every single one. It's something like, if you want to learn more about Lootcrate, blah, 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 and our theme this month is this, and go sign up today and now to the show. Like, there's not even like a pre-roll or mid-roll or anything. It's really just, we wanted to create a really cool audio experience for people to take a look at. And again, the YouTube videos that you mentioned, Looter News, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think today the two stories we're covering is a special promotion we're doing with Fox and Threadless, where it's a T-shirt design contest, where it's officially through Fox and X-Files, where you get to design a T-shirt, and it will actually be the shirt that will be included in January's box. That's a good example of a story that we're covering that is not just all about, hey, Lootcrate. It's like, we want, it's an $8,000 prize. You get to have a chance to enter and win. And then, of course, we're covering Forest Friday, but
well,
rambling a bit here, but yeah, I mean,
you're not at all.
Those are two examples of using content as a way of marketing without it being like brand integration, and really it just being like, here's something really cool that we want to share with you. What is your feedback? How do you feel about it? And by the way, the reason we're talking about this is because this month is blank.
Well, there's so many layers on this that I didn't really think about when it comes to content marketing, customer experience in marketing in general, that you guys are really doing an incredible job of touching on. For instance, the fact that you guys are leveraging the community it's a real testament to taking a look at what it's like to actually use user-generated content and leveraging that, and really, like you said, kind of be more of an amplification of that. And then in addition to that, you talked about something that I don't think people notice as much, is that you guys, you're not hiring talent to go off and do a bunch of this stuff, to do a bunch of this content. You're actually, it sounds like folks that work for you are saying, you know what, I'm really passionate about this. In fact, they're probably all fairly passionate about the geek stuff in general that you're doing. Absolutely. And you're empowering those folks to create content, which is something, for instance, with my clients, it's often one of the first things that they miss is they always say, well, we don't have a writer, or we don't have this person we don't have somebody who can be in front of the camera. But the thing that they're often missing is to tap into the potential and passion of their team members who are willing to actually, amplify the brand, who they really are. I mean, they work for the company. They make a living representing the company from that perspective, let alone, I think you just said you took somebody who's in operations and they're the ones doing what you said?
Well, that was an example of somebody that we had brought on just to do an interview with. I can give tons of examples. I'll give two.
Yeah.
So let's talk about using your internal team, who are obviously, hopefully, not only brand advocates, but also just totally wrapped up in whatever it is that you are marketing. They know the canon, they know what they're talking about. And then I want to answer Steve's question, which is more about Steve K, more about like, if you are a brand who wants to market with Lootcrate, how does that happen? Because that might help some people with how do they approach other brands in that same way. Either approach them to be part of, to be marketed through them, or approach them to be marketed through. So the first part with utilizing kind of internal talent, pretty much everybody at Lootcrate, I can't think of a single person. I mean, we're really big. I can't think of a single person that doesn't have like some sort of special talent. They've hosted YouTube videos in the past. They've done, makeup or special effects, or they used to create props, or they worked for a company where it was their job to like create, be part of the culture. So,
but do you hire people because of that? Do you go and say, what is your special talent?
It is actively something that we look at for sure. Like, okay. For example, there's someone that we hired for the community team with the knowledge that they have experience in something that we're going to be launching really soon. And so even though their day-to-day is to moderate, manage, accentuate, and kind of engage with people on social, they will have a portion of their time where they can be part of our production team, or they can be part of the podcast team. Danny, she curates our Spotify playlist every month around the theme, because she just knows.
Spotify playlist. Like, I didn't even realize you had that too. My gosh.
And so and to that point, we are doing what we can to make sure, we're not just the shotgun approach, just like, let's try everything and see what sticks. But we are trying to figure out ways to make sure that everybody knows everything that's going on. But for Spotify, so Danny just has a really great taste in music. And she creates the Spotify playlist every month. It's not in her job description. It's not what she does on a day-to-day basis. She also does our Instagram account. There's photos of her modeling on the account with some of the stuff, or just behind the camera taking photos. It's not Danny's main job. She is part of my office of the Chief Experience Officer, but it's an example of doing that. Ash and Jenny, they're copywriters. Their real day-to-day is to write copy for our products, for the magazine. Yet they are who we tap to do our Lootcrate podcast. And so there's lots of things that are like that. We do lunch and learns. We have people who give a lot to the company, and we really appreciate that. So on the other end, to really answer Steve K's question about Scrolling back here, how do you engage marketers to be part of the promotion and release of each month? Nerdist, Warner Brothers, etc. It really it happens in two different ways. So say we have a theme, and the theme is actually this past theme of villains is good. We have the villains theme, and we know that we want to do this because we just did a heroes theme. And last year we did the same thing. Oh, we lost his head. So in this particular case, we wanted to do something with villains. So we look at really awesome products. We see kind of what's out there. There's that wooden Joker, which a lot of people don't have, a wooden figure collectible. We want to try something new. We'll approach DC in a co-marketing effort, and we'll ask them, we'll say, look, we're going to be including this item in the box. It's going to go to hundreds of thousands of people. We have our influencers going to be doing unboxings. We have a survey afterward where people are going to rate the items on a scale. We know that you guys, and not in this particular case, but we know you guys are coming out with this really awesome TV show. It's coming back on the air. We just really want to work with you to get the word out there so that your fans have an opportunity to get this one-of-a-kind exclusive item. Obviously, we want subscribers as well. Obviously, they want to market their particular product or their brand. But with it being set with from the very beginning of this is a really awesome product that's been requested or that we think is great, and now let's work with the partners and the teams to do it. That's what leads to the authenticity. To not only for the brands to like really let loose with some of their restrictions that they normally have to work with us. Again, 3 years is not a long time, and we're working directly with Disney and Marvel and Activision and Lionsgate, and Legendary and Warner Brothers and Disney and everybody else, because they see that we are honestly trying to give back to the fans. We are honestly trying to provide really great experiences and content. On the other end, of course, we get approached all the time for brands who want to be part of this Lootcrate experience, who want to be part of marketing their content and their products.
But you had to build that first, right? You had to actually build
it took,
up to
yeah,
that.
It took a while before, the knocks, started coming inbound quite a bit. But we never, ever compromise the items that are in the box just solely based off of, oh, well, this big partner wants to work with us and they're going to do X, Y, and Z. And so we need to push this other thing out and do it. We have to feel that the items in the box and that what we're including is authentically something that the community is going to enjoy. With, of course, the knowledge that this is a mystery box, Adam. Like, you're going to like some items, you're not going to like some items. If you told me the wooden Joker, it looks too much like a kid's toy, I would have rather had like a action figure looking thing, that's fine.
But it's about value. It's about value and experience, and experience feeds into value. So you guys, again, the first time years and years ago when I got the box, there wasn't a lot of value for me in particular. I've always been I've been a comic collector, big video game guy, I'm a geek, but I'm also a guy who owns a business and doesn't have as much time, for instance, to have a video game system currently as I did in the past when I was blowing money in the arcade. But sure. You guys have upped it, and I think looked for really awesome things to put in for, again, the value. It's how much are you paying versus what are you getting, and that experience that you're creating helps to sort of amplify that value and feeling like it's as Brian Fanzo sort of calls this, is it's FOMO, the fear of missing out, and there's a little element of FOMO in there as well, right? Where if like I'm going this afternoon and I'm going to get a Sphero BB-8 from Best Buy. And I could wait a month from now or 2 months from now, but the thing looks incredible and it's launched today. And I want to be a part of the same sort of community of folks that are going out there and jumping on that stuff now versus later.
And that's really good. That will allow me to, and please everybody continue asking questions in the chat. Because I'm going to answer another Steve question kind of. Steve's been doing digital marketing and content marketing for years, so he's asking the questions like this. Let's talk about Sphero. I had a great conversation with them over the phone at D23. I've been a fan of Sphero products. We obviously like the technology; it's really cool. When we heard that Sphero was coming out with a BB-8, we wanted to work with them to see if there's a way for us to get some BB-8 items to our Lootcrate subscribers through like a contest or a giveaway. And I won't ruin anything about kind of what we're doing around that. But that's something where obviously a Sphero BB-8 is not going to end up in a Lootcrate. It's a high-priced product. It's more than the cost of the box.
Yeah.
I don't even think they can make, and this is no slight to them, I don't think they can make almost 500,000 units in the time that we need it. From when, we knew it was an item that existed to trying to get it in the box, 500,000 is quite a bit. But we really wanted to make sure that this character, this technology, this company, that they're somehow represented. So we're working with Sphero to do a really awesome promotion and to allow people to be able to get access to it who might not necessarily be able to. Not because, and this is, Sphero is not really kind of a company everybody knows about, but not because Sphero is paying us, money, not because,
because we're doing something cool,
sponsoring it. We just want to do something cool together. And when they heard from us that we actually know their product, we know how the mobile app works and everything, and that we think this is the perfect Lootcrate item because it mixes that geek of Star Wars and gamer of being able to see something kind of move around and use it, that it was perfect for us. Boom, the floodgates open. We were talking to the right people. There wasn't any conversations about we need to get all this, it needs to be this big sponsorship or anything. And that kind of stuff happens all the time. And so Sphero...
Are you telling me I shouldn't go buy my Sphero today? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
You probably have a better chance of getting it today than through the promotion, because there's gonna be a lot of people, I'm sure. But it's something where it's an example of us seeing something that we want to create an experience around, and it's not just going to be put your email address here and you can win a Sphero. It's going to be something fun, that's engaging and is around the spirit of it. And that's a way of us kind of building a relationship and partnership with the brand. So when Sphero does stuff in the future, or the company that represents them, the PR agency, they know what Lootcrate's about, they get experience. That kind of in-kind relationship is going to work out perfectly, because we get to showcase something, we get to say that, we're working directly with them, they get to do the same thing, and it just ends up kind of being a win-win.
So you guys, we're on Blab here, and we've got, close to 30 people currently on. We'd love to have some more folks as we hit into the home stretch. I don't know how much longer I can keep Matthew. I know I've told him until about noon our time on the West Coast. And I've seen Blabs where folks are really having fun and we stick around longer. And I want to make sure we don't keep Matthew unless he decides to stick around. But can you go ahead and tweet a little bird, tell a little bird on the side so we get some folks in here. If you are new to Blab, you can click on our faces. Yes, click on our faces to give some props if you enjoy what you're hearing. It's a signal to let us know that. I'm going to be opening up the room a little bit here in a second as well, if somebody wants to jump in. And really, again, we want to talk about Lootcrate in regards to business experience and marketing. That's what I'm trying to keep the topic to. I think this is even better than I expected. Matt, by the way, you guys are doing some awesome stuff. Now I know why you're one of my favorite brands. And so what is the payoff here? You guys are investing a lot of time, energy, money. You're paying for somebody, you hire them. And then they instead of doing something in the back, they're additionally doing a podcast on part of their time, right? Yep. You do these videos that may or may not be a hit per se, depending on how many views it has. But you say, we're going to go ahead and do the next one, so you stay consistent with that content. What is the payoff that makes it not only worthwhile but worth consistently doing, even when one or two don't necessarily hit the mark?
When people say that Lootcrate is more like a friend getting them a gift every month than a company that's trying to market to them, that's what we're looking for. When people are saying, I love the experience that I have with Lootcrate, I understand Lootcrate as a brand. I know that they're there not just to sell me items, but to entertain me, sometimes, when we introduce things that really aren't really super popular, to educate me, to keep me in the loop of what's going on. That's the end goal. And, I'm not going to sit here and say, with giant warehouses and shipping and products, because we have to pay for everything, that the goal is not to generate revenue and to increase the value of the company. Of course it is. That's what we're, but it's not what drives us. What drives us is people really understanding the brand, people wanting to have great experiences with the brand. Everything else comes from that. If you can create a really engaging experience that someone can't have anywhere else, that's what's going to reduce churn. That's going to want to have people to have that FOMA, they don't want to miss out on what the next thing is. And that's what we're building with Lootcrate. Of course, there are things you can experience with Lootcrate without ever subscribing to us. But at some point, if you're going to see a video, it's going to stir up some sort of emotion. You're going to see an unboxing. You're going to see someone say, this is my favorite shirt to wear ever. I always get compliments on it and everything. And it's going to lead to people wanting to sign up and talking about it. And that's what we're doing. We are going to be doing some traditional marketing here in the future. But
you guys go to events all the time. I mean, I know that I bugged you just before. I think San Diego Comic Con, for instance.
Yeah, and right now some of the team is in Canada right now at Fan Expo, which is the largest pop culture expo in Canada. And that was just literally days after Penny Arcade Expo Prime in Seattle. I'll be at New York Comic Con in October. I'll be at Toy Fair and Licensing Show and Kamikaze in LA and Anime Expo and WonderCon. Those are a big part of our.
But you're there because you want to be connected to the community, right? It's not all about shilling your stuff.
Correct. We're there because, and we even, if we wanted to sell stuff, we would. I mean, yes, you go to our booth, you see a bunch of loot crates behind us. It's really just to kind of cover us being out there. These aren't profit generating things, but it's when I go to PAX. Well, I'll use Rooster Teeth because I didn't get to go to PAX because of my son being born, which is much better.
How dare he do that? How dare he not be better timing?
But it was good. Those are the opportunities for me to be, and the rest of the team, to talk to Dark Horse and Marvel and go to their booth and say, hey, my name is Matthew. I'm with Lootcrate. I'm a big fan of, let's even do like something independent, like a game. Gigantic has this, Motiga has this game coming out called Gigantic, and going up to them and being like, hey, actually someone I used to work with, Emily, currently works with you guys as a community manager. I'd really like to just talk to you a little about what Lootcrate's all about. I'm a big fan of your product and what the game you have coming. Can we meet and talk? It's about letting looters meet us, engage with us, learn more about the brand, take photos, have a fun experience. Even purchasing a pack-specific crate is an experience for our looters. They'll gladly pay the money.
The exclusivity.
To get the box for packs unfolded inside out and looked like a big Game Boy, and you could actually put your thumbs on it, in the right place and everything. It's really something that is all part of it. So again, it's not like, I understand it can not sound honest, but it's the truth. We weren't sitting around going like, should we go to this show? Because if we go, man, we can make a lot of money if we go and sell loot crates there. It's like, okay, how many crates do we have to sell to cover our team going out there? Because we know it's important for us, our brand, to be there. We want to be able to have Canadian looters, because we've never done a show before, interact with us, meet with us. And we want the opportunity to walk around to all the other vendors that are out there at Canada Fan Expo and pick and pull and see what's cool, see what's new, see what's there. So that's really the kind of same mentality we take with everything.
So how many folks over there in the chat, which is awesome because I'm seeing tons of folks that not are just here, because of me or want to talk about marketing, but also just happen to be really big Loot Crate fans. How many folks over there would like to see Loot Crate do a Blab where a bunch of people jumped in and did a live unboxing of the box, or even something exclusive or whatever, and then
tap our faces to let us know.
And by the way, I think this is the first time that Loot Crates jumped on Blab, so there's only 10 followers, which is really a shame. I think everybody should be clicking on Loot Crate and following them on Blab, which is not only going to be Matthew, right? It could potentially be anybody that's using the Twitter account.
Honestly, I mean, this very early on, I used to do Google Hangouts when we had, 10,000 subscribers, and it would be like, I'm one of the co-founders. Ask me questions. What do you want? I've done AMAs on Reddit, obviously not like, doesn't reach the front page or thing. It's mostly for our community. But of course, I can see doing this. This is a good use of my time. This is not an opportunity for me to market Loot Crate. This is an opportunity for people who want to know more about the brand, who want to know more about content marketing, who want to know more about what it is that other companies are doing. So I could totally see myself, hopefully at some point, getting some sort of regular schedule. But this is something that we could see doing in the future. Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, I sort of pinged you before because I wanted to have an audio conversation with you, which ultimately, by the way, Blab does turn into. We'll get an audio file and a video file in the end, so this could go on YouTube. It could be put into an audio podcast, all that sort of stuff. But I just, that's why I wanted to talk to you is in general, from being on the experience side of your brand, and really enjoying it. And being a marketer, I could see all the stuff that you guys were doing. And I felt that, we wanted to sort of unbox, you see what I did there? I wanted to unbox the experience a little bit so that brands could understand. And I think there was a lot more uncovered than I expected. You guys, we got about 10 minutes here. If somebody wants to join on and ask a question on video, they can go ahead. There's an open seat. They can click and join us if they'd like. Again, we've got about 10 minutes left, and that's also 10 minutes left to tell a little bird on the side and get a few more folks in to join us at the end of this here. I will usually have about once a week a Blab that's going to be on a similar topic to this: customer experience, experiential marketing, content marketing, marketing in general, but basically about how different things influence the buyer journey and buyer's experience. I don't have one scheduled yet for next week, but please follow me on Blab so that way you can be aware of it. And Brittany, who is a member of Team Blab, she is a member of the Team Blab, and it looks like she's a geek. She's joining us.
Oh, there she is.
How you doing, Brittany?
Good. I'm in my business wear.
Oh, your headphone game is on point, man.
I know. Those are awesome
I have
headphones.
to keep posting the link in chats because people ask what they are.
I am a big fan of the Astro gaming headsets. They're a partner and friend of ours. So,
what's on your mind, Brittany?
So I imagine a lot of people reach out to you trying to get things included in Lootcrate. And how do you say no to people? Like, because clearly these are curated and they're great. And sometimes you get stuff in a lot of boxes where you're like, oh God, like how much did they have to pay to add this? Like,
right. And we definitely, that's definitely not a situation. I mean, that's death to us, right?
Yeah.
That's like, when someone feels like they're marketed to simply for the reason that someone paid to be able to have that inclusion, that's bad. That's really bad.
How do you go about like saying no to those people? Like in a
well,
night
I mean, at this point now, I mean, I can talk about it at this point now with, the size that we're at. We have a full biz dev team. Things funnel through Salesforce and everything. So it really is that, thank you for reaching out to us and sharing your product and what you have to offer with us. If there's an opportunity for us to include you in a future Lootcrate, we're going to reach out and start that process. Was
it difficult in the beginning? Like, because
at the very beginning, it was us really just going out and curating stuff that we wanted ourselves. I mean, the very first box I felt needed a little, like, just something extra, an extra item. And I think we only had 250 subscribers or something. I rode my bike. I was living in downtown LA at the time. I rode my bike to like a shop in the toy district in downtown LA.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get pizza soon. But okay. So like I see these in like boxes all the time, like whatever they're called.
Funkos.
These are the coolest things in the world. Whoever built these, they're great.
We have multiple. Yeah, but why don't you show Adam? I can see on your shelf there, that looks like the exclusive Lootcrate glow-in-the-dark arm Groot up there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? It's not. I actually that glow-in-the-dark Groot that you talked about, the arm Groot, is what I saw from Calvin.
I have to run and eat pizza now.
Oh, all right, Brittany. Thanks for joining us. Take care. That glow-in-the-dark arm one that I saw Calvin get is what caused me to go, shoot, let me see if I can get that. And I was one box shy when I started my new subscription. So I have Baby Groot and regular Groot. If you got a new one or another one laying around, just let me know.
Hopefully that's something. But yeah, I think it's gone, man. It's there. It's gone. I mean, I have family members who sometimes ask me, like, we're doing a Fallout limited edition one-off kind of situation. We're doing Mass Effect. Even some of our employees are like, how can I guarantee it? We're like, we'll try and do something, but there's, it's tough. It's really tough. But that Groot was an example of, you can't go and buy that. You can't go, you have to go to eBay at this point. We work with Marvel. We had to sign a lot of paperwork because at the time the movie was just about to be released. And the idea that the Groot glow-in-the-dark arm was because that scene where Groot goes in and the little, the lights come off of his arm. We were under strict, can't tell anybody about it because and that happens all the time with Fallout. We knew I'm so happy I can talk about some of this stuff now. I won't go into detail on some tangent, but we knew about Fallout 4 being announced during E3 6 months before that, and we just had to be quiet. We knew that like in November the game was coming out. We had to be quiet about that. It's those kind of relationships we have with brands that lead us to be able to do these kind of exclusive content opportunities and products as well. And I see we've got some.
Matar, did you have a question?
Sorry, I clicked the join button on by mistake. But what is this call is about?
What? I think you're gonna have to see the replay. I saw you just join and you jumped in. I said, "There's no way he knows what we're talking about yet because he's only been here for 1 minute." But why don't you say hi to Matthew at least, Matar?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
I'll give you a couple. I'll give you some props here for clicking the join.
Yeah, everybody give Matar some props real quick before we let him take off. And Matar, go check out lootcrate.com. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about what's going on at lootcrate.com. Okay.
Just tell me what is it about. Is it about like music? What?
Look at the topic, my man. Look at the topic.
Epic content, marketing, experiences.
Yep. See, you're gonna have to listen to the replay, I think. So we're gonna see if we can get somebody else in here, all right? But thanks for joining us.
Take it easy.
If anybody else wants to join as well, yeah, exactly. Live TV. I'm not the guy on C-SPAN, right? That ends up getting the folks that want to curse all the time, and I'm not inviting anybody to do that, even though we're not on live TV. So we've got literally just a few minutes. There's no chance to see the baby, huh? There's no chance to see player 3, huh?
Coulson is he sleeping?
You did name him after sleeping. Agent Coulson, didn't you? Yes,
but the spelling's a little different. I didn't want him to have to go through. Oh no, it's Coulson. So we thought it was a decent boy's name, Coulson. A little different.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Jack or John.
But you got, and I was
the inspiration did come from that. Yeah.
I got this, from the last Loot Crate.
Yep.
And it's freaking awesome, but I can't walk around with Hydra on my sports coat. It's pretty incredible. I was like, if I had a shield one, I would wear that.
And that's it seems like a small item, but that item was actually cast from the original on-screen prop that was used in Captain America. So it's a replica of. It's not just here's a Hydra thing, and it's if you actually look at the box it comes in, or the little thing, it has a certificate of authenticity. We worked with Marvel and a company called EFX who does replica props to create that. So it's screen accurate to what was used in the film. That's the same thing with the Marvel badge. Same thing. We did that Agents of Shield badge a few months back.
Did you?
Yeah, and let's.
It was a little. It's
I could tie it into content marketing really quick here. So we wanted to do something with Agents of Shield. And so we approached ABC and our friends at Disney and ABC Studios, and we said, hey, we want to do something really special because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back on the air, and there was a season hiatus. So what can we do? And they said, well, what are your ideas? And we said, well, there's a company that does props for you guys, replicas, and sells them. It's collectibles. We'd like to do an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. badge. I said, perfect. They loved it. The badge ended up being...
Oh, that's right. What's the guy's name again? Koenig?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and so
a lanyard, man, a lanyard.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
You got to have your lanyard. And very tiny writing at the very bottom. It says copyright Marvel, but otherwise it's accurate to what's used on screen. It has a certificate of authenticity and everything. So there's an example of us. We wanted to include Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a very popular show. We wanted to include something in that box which had everything to do with that type of stuff. And we approached ABC, and we were able to be on Marvel.com. Marvel tweeted us out, said, "Get your exclusive Loot Crate, Marvel collectible."
Well, you tied the experience of, it wasn't about just the Loot Crate experience. You tied the experience of things that people are seeing on the big screen, small screen,
correct,
whatever you're talking about, right? Or in the video game, you're tying folks to that experience. So that's one of the really, really cool things. It's not like we just always get a little figurine or something, but we get something where you just, blew my mind that this is cast from the thing that's in the movie, and that
and that item right there, Adam, we weren't paid by Marvel to include it. What Marvel movie's out right now? None. But we knew Hydra. We're like, hey, that's a perfect thing to put in a villain's crate. People, it's an interesting item. So we weren't paid by Marvel to put that in there. However, because we went out there and bought it and included it, Marvel was incentivized to tweet out, and they did. In fact, last month's Villains Crate had a Marvel item and a DC item within the same hour. Both at Marvel and DC Comics both tweeted out images that said, "Get your exclusive item, Marvel, get your exclusive DC item in this month's Loot Crate." And I challenge you to find another company out there that can have two quote unquote competing media companies promoting their inclusion in the same box.
If you can get a McWhopper in the next Loot Crate box, that'll be the real thing, man.
I don't know, man. McWhopper. I saw photos of what a McWhopper would look like. It looked. I'm an In-N-Out guy. So.
Yeah. It didn't look much more appetizing than the usual.
But that's an example of us doing that with something where it incentivized the brand to talk about the inclusion. They marketed for us. We didn't have to go out there and get a TV ad or a big newspaper article or pay somebody to say, the brand that Marvel itself went out there and talked about the inclusion. And that leads to a little bit better, less friction from somebody wanting to subscribe because they're like, look, the brand itself is pushing it. The brand is saying you don't want to miss out on this. And so that's one of the ways that we use content and products to market to our subscribers and potential subscribers.
Well, Matt, I'd love to have more conversations with you about this sometime and see if there's anything that you could do here on Blab, amongst other things. I think this is really awesome.
Thank you. Maybe there's a way that we can focus on something like particularly like in YouTube marketing for brands or event marketing. What are the key things you want to get out of an event to help market your
so let's take some we can take some deep dives, I guess, into some of the things that you were talking about. What do you guys think over there in the chat? Would you like to hear a little bit more of the unboxing of some of these different things that we talked about specific to YouTube? Go deep. We'll take a deep dive. I'll reach out to Matt and his team and see if we can get something going in the next few weeks or next month or something like that, depending on your availability.
And I do want to say this not only because maybe one or two of them are watching. It really is a team effort. Everybody at Lootcrate is our friends and family. I consider them new aunts and uncles of my new son, and they're all incredibly hardworking people. They're incredibly passionate about what they do. It's not easy to get a job at Lootcrate. We go through a lot of screenings and everything, and we are looters just like our community. So when we talk about me being chief experience officer, I really want to make sure that everybody understands that yes, at one point I sent every tweet, I responded to every email, I did all the product, biz development and everything. It's really a team effort. I really want to give a shout out to everybody at Lootcrate who's part of our family and part of our company, and who all work really hard every day to really make Lootcrate what it is.
Awesome, dude. I'm so happy that you were able to join us for this hour, especially, when I saw you on Facebook say, Ready Player 3, Coulson's here. I went, oh, dude, he's not showing up. He is busy. So luckily I reached out to Danny and I said, is he still alive? Is he going to be okay? And I got to tell you, at least from on the front facing side on Facebook, it seems like you're really enjoying waking up in the middle of the evening and taking care of things. So I applaud you. You don't look that bad. You don't look.
No, I got some. I'm sleepy for sure, but I've got a great supporting family. My wife is amazing, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law are here to help out a little bit too. So, and then everybody at work again is being really because they need to. They're being really supportive of me taking a few days off here. So
the bassinet that's in the shape of a big Loot Crate box that you just open up with the baby inside.
I'm sure there's we have giant Loot Crate boxes that we use at shows that I can fit in. And I'm not a small
loot coffin.
So that's bury me in a Loot Crate. All right,
yeah, exactly.
I'm sure there will be a photo of Coulson, hopefully not crying, sitting in a little Loot Crate box at some point in the future. It's going to have to happen.
Well, awesome. This is your last chance to give some props to myself and Matthew on the show here. If you guys like this, I'd love to hear what you think. These comments are going to be immortalized forever in Blab history, because if you want, you can come back and see the replay so you can actually share it with folks. So I encourage you guys to still spread the word. And I'd love to hear what you guys thought of this. Dude, Matt, I appreciate it. I need to let you go. I know you've got to get back to the family and everything. We'll reconnect here soon. And thanks for your time, man.
Thank you, Adam. I really appreciate it. And